What is up, everyone? It's Simon, and today we're talking about my first impressions with the Rhino Arc II motion control system. Starting off, if you're curious about what made me pick the Rhino Arc II over some of its competitors like the Syrup, Kessler, and those kinds of things, click this link up here and watch my last video where I talk about my thought process behind buying gear. If you're curious about the Rhino itself, we're going to jump right in right now. What led me to buying a motion control system of any sort? And that really came down to my constant desire to try and improve the quality of my productions whenever I'm traveling and with clients so they can do better in the long term, because better quality content that fits with their mission and fits with their marketing tactics explodes and gets more traction. Rhino Arc II was the perfect companion because of its size, weight, capabilities, and cost. It just was the exact match of what I was looking for. That being said, it's still a pretty decently sized unit. It's got a little heft to it. I'd say that the whole thing's around like 8 pounds with the slider and the motor. This right here is, I think, about 5.5 pounds. But that's also got batteries built in, which is pretty stinking sweet. Now, what do I love about the Rhino system? Well, it's a really well thought out system overall, and the fact that you have the focus motor comes in clutch, so that way when I'm doing video of like product, which I did a job recently that required that, really just lets you finesse your shots and get some really, really awesome looking footage. My client that I did the product shots for was super happy, and the video blew up and had over 50,000 views in the first 48 hours. So can't complain about that one bit. Now, when I'm actually using the system, there's a lot of great things because of the fact that I'm able to use the joysticks and operate it fully, or I have a smartphone app that I can use if I want to do it a little bit more remotely, if I'm in a weird place, that kind of thing. All around works awesome. I love the ability to just take the focus motor off when I'm not using it, and if I'm definitely not using it, I don't even have to carry it with me, so it saves on bag weight. This may not necessarily travel with me overseas as much, because a lot of what I would be doing doesn't necessarily need the finesse focus when I'm traveling, but it is nice for when I'm doing some detailed product shots, and if there is a project that might need it, I can always carry it. It's not that big and heavy. The unit itself is great. I have the high speed motor, which is quieter, but it doesn't have as much like pull, so it's more for like flat environments, which is really where I'm going to be using it a lot of the time. One of the things that I found was that I really wish there was a bubble level built onto the slider somewhere, but I spent $1.50 and got one off Amazon that's actually meant for the hot shoe of a camera. But what I do is I just set it on the end of the rail when I'm adjusting it, and I'm able to use the bubble level just to make sure that I've got the tripod set up so the slider's in the right position for what I'm looking for. Comes in super handy. It's not that big, and it just sets right on the end of the slider, no problem. If I want to put like a piece of double stick tape or a piece of gaff tape to like hold it down, it works out. I'd say double stick over gaff just because it makes sure that you're flatter. All in all, it does the job. The other thing that I did switch up from the Rhino was, instead of using their Manfrotto quick release plate, which is a perfectly good plate and I do use them, but when it comes to my A7 cameras, they're always set up with Arca Swiss. So I just bought a Arca Swiss quick release plate, which goes along the exact lines of the way that I have my Ronin S and my GlideCam set up, where all I have to do is take the camera, plop it on, and voila, and then I can take it off nice and easy peasy as well. This also comes in handy when I'm using things like my tripods that are Arca Swiss as well. Just makes it so I can pop this off, go set it onto anything else. Don't have to worry about changing tripod plate, the whole 9 yards. Just makes my life a whole lot more efficient. And one of the things that, if you know me at all, I'm all about efficiency when I'm out in the field, because I like having gear that allows me to tell the story, and half of that is getting the gear out of the way, not having to fuss with it as much. The ability to have everything sitting right here where I can program a time lapse just makes it really simple and straightforward to use. And so I'm really easily able to set up, whether it's a video that I'm doing like ping pong, if I'm doing a B camera that's moving, whether I'm doing a time lapse motion, doesn't matter. It's really easy to just set it up using this. Have had no real complaints with it now that I've gotten to know the system. Obviously, your first few days, things get a little quirky, but it's overall a great system. There is one thing that I wish that I could do, and that's with the phone app. I wish that I could take it away from like joystick mode doing pan and tilt and actually have separate pan and tilt opportunities. That way I'm able to finesse those exact positions a little bit more, but it's a minor thing. I'm still able to get stuff into the position that I want it to. So overall, it's just one of those things. It's a minor inconvenience, but I can work around it. What am I going to be using this for? It's going to be time lapses, video. When I'm doing interviews, I can add a little extra to my interviews. The whole nine, it's going to be absolutely wonderful, and I'm super stoked to get this out in the field. One of the things that I'm doing in the near future is I'm actually going out in the woods in West Virginia and testing a bunch of gear, so that way once international travel opens up again, I have my kit dialed and I'm really ready to go with that. So one of the things that I'm doing with that is I'm actually making a custom cover for this that will allow me to protect the Arc II motion control head while putting the whole entire thing on the outside of a backpack with the straps, so that way I can have all my tripods and stuff right there, get to a location, unclip everything, pull it off, set it up, and go without too much extra work. Makes it a whole lot easier, especially with some of the run and gun interview situations I deal with, where I've got 5 minutes that I gotta fully set up an interview, including the audio and the whole 9 yards. We just gotta go boom, 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 get it done. And having this like pretty much be like, clip it onto a tripod and go, just makes everything that little bit faster that I need. That's really all I've got for this one. If you guys have any questions about the Rhino Arc II, leave a comment down below and I'll be sure that I get to it in the upcoming time-lapse off that my buddy Andy and I are having between Kessler Crane and the Rhino motion control system. I'm super stoked for it, so we're gonna try and answer any questions you may have in depth while we're out shooting time lapses. Can't wait to get into that one. We're gonna basically show the differences between the two systems and what we like and don't like about each in more detail, specifically with time lapse, because it's gonna be a big deal. But so yeah, be sure you're subscribed so that way you see the time lapse off when we have that in a couple weeks. If you guys have any other questions, again, leave a comment down below and have a great week. See you guys next time.